What's up, everybody? It's your boy King David, and I'm back at it with another video. And we're going to talk about conserving your life force energy or semen retention in this video, like I usually do. And we'll just go over a couple things. Like I not went to, but I attended, I guess would be the proper way to put it. A community call today, and like usual, I try to go to the ones that I can make it to. Um, we were talking about retention and a couple other things, and I said a few words and things like that. Uh, about retention and how it affects everybody, right? It's kind of strange how, like, let me get into it here for you guys. Like, it's kind of strange how when you first start your journey, right, with retention, and you retain for a certain amount of days, because with me, I never really counted the days, but like in the back of my mind, I always kind of like knew how many days I went, you know. Um, when you first start your journey, I think that excuse me, I think that you're not fully aware of like what you'll gain from retention, right? From retaining. Like a lot of guys, they'll be retaining because of what they see on the internet of other people talking about retention, right? They didn't just start retention um, solely because of just it was something that you thought was like the right thing to do, right? That was me when I first started retention. Maybe I didn't even think it was the right thing to do. Like, to be completely honest, I just did it. And I realized how I felt when I was on it compared to when I wasn't. And then over the years, like I started to gain more insight on like how I was feeling when I was retaining compared to when I wasn't. So I think that a lot of people they get on the retention journey because they want to have the benefits, right? And me, I didn't even know what the benefits were, I just was doing it because it just felt natural, it was all part of the plan. Like that's the thing, guys, is like it's all, part of your destiny. Like everything is like the reasons why you do certain things is because it was already written. It was already meant to be. Uh, some people have a hard time coming to acceptance of what is already planned out for you, um, but that is what it is, right? So when I was retaining on these streaks and stuff, I didn't know, about what was necessarily happening. So I think that like when you don't know, this is like the weirdest thing about retention, right? When you don't know what is happening, um, and you're retaining, you think kind of still like everybody else in a way. Like, cause my earlier streaks, you think you're still like you still fit in because you technically do. Like you still have like a similar mindset to everyone else, which is true. Like you will, like when you're on longer years and retention, like you'll still like have that kind of like same mind state. But it's different. Like it is different, guys. Like it's similar but not, right? So let's make it simpler. Let's put it in I'm having a hard time talking right now, guys. Let's put it into perspective. So when you first start retention and you're around people, because I remember when I was like at my job and stuff, like certain things just like started to change, and I wasn't really understanding like why they were changing around me. Like certain things, like I could like see better at night. I could I could hear better. I could smell better. Like like my senses were like stronger in a way. Like I was able to smell like just certain things, like you can just smell them like deeper. Like it's really strange like how that is, guys. That it'll be something like so subtle, but like you're able to smell it like into a degree where it's like you're like, oh, I know exactly what that is, and like you can smell what it is. Like it's almost like if somebody were like, well, we'll skip over that. Like besides for like your senses increasing, I noticed like it just felt like you felt energized, right? Like energized from within. Like before, I feel like when you're not retaining, like you're just kind of like moving through life, like you're on like autopilot, guys. And like a lot of people are like this. It's like that's normal for most people. Is like you're just doing life, you're just living life, you're going through life. You don't know, like you know what you're doing, but you don't quite know what you're doing. You know, and when you're it's kind of strange to say stuff like this, but I mean, kind of what it is, right? You like you have a plan, you're doing stuff, you're going through life, and yeah, it all makes sense to you. But in the weird way, it's like there's like something more. Like I feel like when you start questioning, like why are we here, and you start questioning uh your soul, like what animates this body and whatnot, right? Like when you start having questions like that, that's when you kind of like understand, oops, excuse me, when you understand that like you're on like a different kind of frequency than a lot of other people. But that's okay, that's normal. Like i think that uh I think that some people embrace it and they think that's normal, and then other people might think you're a bit strange, but that's fine. It doesn't matter if they think you're strange or not. Just know that that's normal. That's a normal thing for you guys to go through this. Uh, so when you're on retention, right? Like with me, in the beginning, I I would notice these changes, like women that I. It's so strange, like right, like you'll see like these women in your life, and like you're just like living life, and when you're not on retention, like these women are attracted to you, and like you know they're attracted to you, or maybe you like have never talked to them, but they were attracted to you, and like you could have gotten with them, like if you had crossed paths, but you didn't cross paths until you started to retain. And then when you retain, then you cross paths with this person, but it's different. It's almost like they knew. They didn't know like exactly, but it's like almost like it's a different kind of energy. It's like they can feel it. Like I think with women they can feel the energy more than men, but I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think it's about equal, you know? I think it's an equal thing. But it's strange cuz like you'll be retaining, and especially if you're not conscious of like what you're doing, you're just retaining because like that's just what you decided to do, and you're like you're doing it now, and you're just going through life. It's like you start to like notice everything around you starts to change. Like people start to like look at you. Like that's the one thing that happens like when you're on retaining, is like people will look at you. Like even it doesn't matter if you're already attractive or not, or if you're not attractive, it's like you just instantly get like, well, to like society standards, right? You'll get to a point you're just where you just go into like a store or something, right? You'll go into like wherever you're going, like, you'll go somewhere, or you'll be like walking or biking or wherever, whatever you're doing. You're at the park or something like that. You're just minding your business, just doing your thing. And let's say you're retaining, and you're not conscious really of that you're retaining, right? Um, it's almost like everybody stares at you, right? not everybody, but there's a good amount of people will look at you and and they notice you because of your energy, right? Uh, it's not really what like you look like. I mean, it does matter what you look like, but it's more so like it's more about your energy, right? And then you're like moving through life or whatever, and you'll notice like if you were like me on my journey or similar to my journey, because everybody's journey is different, is you say you go a certain amount of days and you relapse, like you don't know the consequences of your relapse, and like the first time that like you go a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days or whatnot, and then you relapse or release. I like to call it releasing, but relapse is the word that everybody uses. You know what I mean? Um, when you release, guys, you'll notice the consequences aren't as heavy, right? Like you don't like get as much negative things, but negative things will happen, right? Maybe not necessarily like the worst things will happen, but like certain things will start to happen, and like those same girls that were like that came across your path like disappear, you know what I mean? Or like you might have hair and then you end up cutting it off, or like just strange things, right? Like things that like you're like what the heck happened? Like I was on like this like ball, like you're on like this snowball of like energy, and then it just kind of like ended. But like you're still not really conscious of like what exactly happened yet. Like you don't know like the full, you know, I shouldn't say power. It's not really like it is a power, but it isn't like exactly like that. It's like you don't know the full extent of like what you did, right? To yourself, technically. Like that's really what's going on, right, guys? So you might like after the first time you might just go back to like your old ways, like especially if you didn't know that like you were doing it, like especially if you weren't doing it for a purpose. I feel like some guys that get on it because they like see something on the internet or whatever, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna give it a shot. It's like when you're doing it and like you didn't even know, like which is good, both are good, but like let's say if you're like doing it you didn't know and then you end up relapsing, it's like or releasing. um I think that the consequences are probably about the same. You know what I mean? It's about the same. I just think it depends on like how much you know about retention as well, right? So like now, like for instance, years later, guys, like uh after many different streaks and stuff, uh you get to a point where like you know, like if you relapse, like or you if you release, guys, it's not good. It's not good. It's like you it's still gonna happen. Like it's inevitable because like everything I'm sorry for like yelling, but it's like everything happens for a reason. Like there's a reason why you do release or relapse or however you want to put it, lose your life force, guys. Like there's a whole like story behind it all, and like you're telling it through um just living it, right? You're living literally the story that you're creating. So um it's very strange because like now I don't even like now when I go on my streaks, guys, like I don't look at them as necessarily streaks. Like your whole mindset changes over the years, like of like what it is. Especially once you start to like gain more knowledge on like what is like possible and what's not. I think the most knowledge that you gain through retention is actually by doing it, you know? But even that is not in your control. Like it's like if you're going to retain for long periods of time, like that is like what you're going to do. It's like it's not like up to you if you're going to go like 90 or 100 or 2000 days, you know what I mean? It's all up to like the most high. It's like yeah, you have to put into like some work. Like I feel like it is somewhat like your own will of what you will do and what you won't do, but even that in itself isn't really it's kind of strange because it's like even that in itself isn't um up to you. Like it's really up to the Most High. So it's strange. Like it's just a strange like journey. I think the longer you go on the journey, um, the longer you go on the journey, the more you're able to feel people's energies. I think that's like the biggest thing is that like you become more like like not necessarily powerful, but like like your energy becomes stronger and you're able to like sense other people's energies more effectively. Like you're able to like know where the energy is coming from and who it's coming from. And it gets to that degree to where you're like you can sense like it's so strange like you can sense like there's some things you're not going to be able to sense like it's not always going to work like you're not always going to be that's the funniest thing about like retention is like people are like oh I can see through everything it's like no man like you're not going to be able to like you're not Spider-Man out here guys like you're not you're not you're not going to be like some super powered like Superman guy that flies around. I mean, it's good to think of yourself that way. I think that's a good way to look at yourself. Or if you are Spider Man, like that's cool. I think that's a cool thing. But it's like that sometimes. Like you get those downloads, or not necessarily downloads. Like you get those like awareness and the levels of awareness certain times during the day throughout your life. It's not like a consistent thing, but there are some things that do remain consistent. It's like you're able to I feel like the things that obviously like you would have indulged in prior to retention is like completely like eliminated at some point in your life. Like it just fades from the existence of your timeline if that makes any sense. Like you were going to do this or maybe you did do this in the past but like in the future you're probably never or you may do it again it all depends on the Most High and like his decisions it's so strange but in reality it's like you kind of like split from previous things that you were doing like it was like you were doing it it was bad but now you have the knowledge of knowing that it's bad. So when you do it, uh, hopefully you don't feel bad for doing it. I think a lot of people do feel bad for actually doing the thing that they know is bad. It's like, don't feel bad for that, guys. Like, it's all part of the journey in itself. And it's kind of strange that, like, we beat ourselves up for things that we did that are bad, but it depends on, like, how bad they were, obviously, guys. Like, it can't be something really bad, but let's say you did something and it really wasn't that bad but you're beating yourself up for it you're making it worse so don't beat yourself up on anything that you did that was like minor guys like it's not that bad and I think once you realize that it's all part of the plan like it's all part of like the script that you start to get like this awareness of okay yeah if I do this you know what I mean um I might not feel good the next day for doing the thing, but at least I know that, at least I know I'm not going to do it to the extent that I used to do it. Like, and that is like a growth in itself. Like, I feel like that's the hardest part about the journey is knowing that there is growth within the failures in itself. You have to go through failures. Like, you have to go through the rough, muddy waters of life, and to feel clear, clean water. It's strange that like we have to like experience both sides, but it's how it is. And when that happens, guys, like try not to get too caught up in when it happens. Just try to be conscious of when you're doing it, right? Like, and if you're conscious of how you feel after you did it, not anything bad, but just like say you're like drinking, right? You're drinking wine or something, or you're drinking like beer or whatever you're drinking, right? And you're drinking, but you're not like getting like totally like drunk, like right? But you're like drinking, and then try to be conscious of like how you feel when you've already had like a couple drinks or maybe a drink, right? Try to be like aware of like how you feel. If you feel okay and you feel like, oh, this is actually nice balance, you know what I mean? Then you kind of know where like the cutoff is, right? You're like, okay, maybe one is really like what all I need. Maybe not all the time. Maybe I need it like once in a while, or maybe I could do this for a little while and then I won't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Or maybe I need to do this for years until I eventually, it's really strange that like we think of it like when you're more conscious of things, like, um, well, I shouldn't say it's strange, but when you're more conscious of things, you're able to see what you're doing, right? And when you see what you're doing, you're able to react to the moment and change your path. It is all up to the Most High. Like, all this stuff happens because of Him. But I think that, like, you're able to change what you're doing because of Him, because you have a thought of Him in the moment of doing the very thing. Now, you know what I mean? Like, you've correlated Him with the thing that you're doing. It's kind of strange. So, like, that's why when you're retaining, guys, like, it's good to, like, think of it like, okay, I'm going to watch something on the internet. I'm going to watch something I'm not supposed to be watching on the internet, right? But if you're thinking like God, like before you watch it, right? If you're thinking like God, I don't want to watch this stuff on the internet, and you end up doing it, right? Anyway, you realize that's a part of your journey. It's a part of your journey. You realize like you're like, dude, like I don't want to watch this, uh, but I'm going to do it anyway because I can't help myself. Maybe God Himself, I hope He isn't, but I don't know for sure. God Himself is probably laughing at that moment, just laughing, looking down upon you, just laughing at you, just going, "I know you're gonna do it." And I'm just laughing. I was waiting on this moment to laugh at. Like it's like a movie to Him, right? Like he's laughing. He's like, "I know you're gonna do it, but you know what I mean? It's like you don't you don't have any control over what you're doing. You're doing it and you're laughing, or he's laughing at you, and you're like, "Oh man," like, but in reality, everything works out in the end, right? It all is good. So even if you did release, or I don't like using the word, guys. I really don't. So even if you did release, um, don't beat yourself up. It's part of the journey. Stay focused, and it feels better. Like I think you get to a point where you're so used to containing the energy, right? I think that's the next stages in retention, right? Is like once you go a couple years, I think, uh, not, and it doesn't mean consecutively, like you don't days consecutively. Like it just means that like over time you have been practicing this for so many years, right? On and off streaks. It still means a lot. It's like cultivated energy over those years. So uh it's like I think once you get to that level, right? What I'm trying to say here, guys, is it's hard because like sometimes I lose some of the thought process before I even say it. But basically, once you get to that level, guys, what was I trying to say? Um, you realize, I don't know. I don't know. You just realize that there's more energy. Yeah, you can contain, right? That's what I was gonna say. There's more energy that you contain, and I think you when you start off with retention, like you have a small little container, like you don't know how to contain your own energy yet, right? And you're like filling it up, and you might overfill it, and that's why you end up relapsing, right? Or releasing. Uh, and then eventually you start to be more conscious of your energy, and you start to be more conscious of how to contain the energy and how to release some of the energy in so the container doesn't get too full, you know? I think you get to a point where you go so long because like there's men who are on years of retention consecutively day after day. And it's like when you get to that level of retention, you you automatic your body already automatically releases it. You know what I mean? At night, like it releases by a nocturnal emission. So eventually, you get to that point where you're able to contain the energy enough to where it just circulates, and then whatever isn't being used gets, released in a way. So it takes time, guys. It's all about timing, and it's all about when it's supposed to happen. It's like it's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and like you can't force anything. So just stay focused and just be consciously aware. That's why I always say stay on your journeys, you guys. I say stay on your journeys because it's also like a mental thing too. Like you have to think about what you're doing before you do what you're going to do, whether it be good or bad, right? So uh, just think about it. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a blessed day.